So you're in a content war. You're in a content war with your peer.
What are the typical tools? What is the typical process that you have with people to help them understand how to craft their stories to the person that they have in front of them, whether that story it's a resume and it needs to speak to the hiring manager, whether that story it's an introduction that they're doing in an interview. How do you, what are the typical methods that you use to
So
help
a
people?
story, in my view, and a story can be as short,
Mhm.
as two sentences, right? And it could have qualitative and quantitative metrics both in that one or two sentences. And those
Mhm.
are the nice ones. Those are the easy ones to do. But if you've got a story, hiring managers want to, as an executive recruiter, uh, I'm not just somebody has gives me a position specification for a chief financial officer. Well, I'm not looking for a chief financial officer. I'm looking at that position spec, and this chief financial officer's got to solve these four or five super current problems where you can almost see the blood and tears on the position spec. They want somebody to come in there and be able to deal with where they're hemorrhaging, right?
Mhm.
You know, and so the key is, you've got to populate those stories. Okay. Now, LinkedIn just gives you an immense place,
Mhm.
to populate your stories. Most people use LinkedIn like they're using, above the fold on the front page of a newspaper. They just got a listing of, hey, these are what positions I'm in, two or maybe one or two or three sentences and that kind of stuff. Well, I mean, you can tell, stories. You have up to 2,000 characters under each experience section. That's about 400 words,
Mhm.
you know. And so a story is, hey, who, what, when, where, what, and what were the results? Measuring your production with quantitative stuff matters
Mhm.
because everybody's a great guy and a great gal, but how do you differentiate yourself, in a story? Well, you either made money, you saved money, you increased efficiency, you reduced man hours, you got the project done under budget, on schedule, all those kind of things, because that's what people like me and HR departments, okay, they're looking for somebody that can solve the problem. Well, how do we know you can solve the problem? Because you tell a story either on LinkedIn or in this specific resume that is built against that position spec. A LinkedIn profile, consider it a warehouse. So I'm going to go to Alejandro's warehouse. And I can go in that warehouse and I can just walk up and down the lines and I can find anything that Alejandro's done. If he's a singer, in the church, if he belongs to the choir, I mean, everything that he did in college and high school, all of those kind of things. There's a place on LinkedIn, to tell those stories, story after story after story. Now, a lot of people
Mhm.
don't, okay, but if you're going to use LinkedIn, you're choosing to use LinkedIn so people can find you on their needs. So you're in a content war. You're in a content war with your peer, the person that you're competing against at your level. And so, do you have higher quality content? Do you have compelling content?
Mhm.
Compelling content is a story with quantitative, qualitative metrics.